Everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Sarasota County. My name is Damaris Valero. I am the Development Liaison for the Planning and Development Services. Today we are going to be going over how to search records in Accela. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and just a really quick slideshow over what we are going to be covering today. So again, like I said, Lunch and Learn, searching records in Accela. I just wanted to bring up a few key points, some things to remember. So you do need an Accela user account to search records in Accela, and you need to be logged in. So if you do want to search records in Accela, you do have to create an account if you don't have one, and please be logged in. We transitioned, we actually launched our Accela in August of 2021, 2023. So any permits that were closed prior to that date were in our old Amanda system and are not going to be viewable in Accela. If you would like to view those closed permits, you would need to visit building.scgov.net. You still will be able to view those permits, just not through Accela. You would have to use that separate website. I do want to also point out that you need to ensure that you are in the appropriate module that pertains to the record or the permit that you're searching for. I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail later on, but that's something that you should just be mindful when actually using the system. Also, property owner information is not available in Accela. If you would like to see property owner information, you would have to use the property appraiser's website. And I have that link there. It's sc-pa.com/property search. Also, if you are interested in any official lien searches, you have to actually create a formal application in Accela by submitting a general information request. So I just want to let you know that official lien searches will not be able to be obtained through just a general search through Accela. You would have to actually submit a formal application. And then this is just the searchable Accela modules. So again, we're going to be going into this a bit more detail. So we have building, community development, public works, licenses, enforcement, and fire. So these are the different types of record types you will be able to search in Accela. And like I said, we're going to be going over that, the different record types, how to search. There's going to be various things to search in this system. What I wanted to cover really today is kind of the best uses, what people most frequently ask about. So we'll cover a few different things. And then also just to give you a general idea of the search types. So there is general search, you can search by address, licensed professional information, and search by record information. This is a little screenshot here exactly from the Accela site. And again, I'll be going into this in a bit more detail as I begin my demonstration. So now I'm going to go to the Accela website. Just hang with me a minute here. Okay. So here is the Accela website. This is the login page. So obviously, like I said, you do have to be logged in. So I'm going to put in my login information here. If you don't have a login or user account, you can just register for an account through this same page. It's very simple, it takes 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm signed in now. Obviously, this is going to be your welcome page. It says my name here at the top. It'll also kind of demonstrate here throughout different areas of the website that you're logged in as yourself. Like I said, these are the different modules up here at the top. And the dashboard, this is where you'll find your records, so any permits that you've actually filed. And just, again, this is the general welcome page. So I click the home module here, and it's going to bring you to this page here. So I did want to start with just the general information. Actually, it's going to have all the modules in this page, and you can kind of get to different areas of the site through these different links. So I'm just going to start with the general information, just some really quick things that to cover here and how to use it. So if you wanted to look up property information, this is really very basic information. If you don't have a parcel and you're looking for a parcel, this would be a great area to do that. So you can just type in, I'm going to type in our Bob location, which is 1001 Sarasota Center Boulevard. You can type that in. Something for you to be mindful of too, you don't have to put in the entire address. You can if you'd like, but honestly, the entire address is 1001 Sarasota Center Boulevard. But if you were to just put in 1001 Sarasota Center, it'll come up. So I'm going to look up. And here is where you'll be able to retrieve that parcel information. Now, I know it says here, retrieve owner information. If you click that link, nothing will happen. Again, like I said, you will have to navigate to the property appraiser's website in order to obtain owner information. So this is, if really people use this if they're trying to look for a parcel. And then let's just go back to that home page again. And this is another area that I want to cover. So searching for a licensee. So if you need some additional license, if you're trying to find additional information on a licensed contractor, this is where you can quickly search for that information. So let's say that you do have a license number. So I'm going to type in a license number here. Okay, so I typed in that license number and then it's going to bring you to this page. This is the licensee detail. It will show you the license type, license number, the name of the license holder, their business address, and an email. It'll also show you when their license expires. And then just some general insurance numbers here. I believe it's a policy number. So maybe if you're trying to look for contact information or an address pertaining to a license holder, you can find that information here. You can simply just kind of press the back button and you will go back to this main page. Also, it's helpful if you don't have a license number. Obviously, there's a number of different areas that you can utilize. So if you have a business name, if you have a first and last name of somebody you're trying to look up, all of that information can be put in here. If you have an address, it really depends on the information you have and how you wish to look it up. You can also, hold on, somebody's mic is on. Please ensure you're muted. Getting some feedback. Hold on one second. Give me a minute.
Damaris, I think you're muted.
Okay,
Damaris?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know what happened. I was muted for a second. Okay, so like I was saying, if you don't have a license number and you wanted to look up a certain type of contractor, there will be all the contractor types listed here. So let's just say, for example, I was looking for a certified general contractor. You can simply just put that there if you don't have any specific one in mind and do a search, and it will show you all the certified general contractors that are registered within Sarasota County. It has the license number here, has the license type, the business name, first name, address, the license expiration date, and the insurance expiration date. You can simply just click on that and it will take you to that licensee detail page once again. If you click back, it'll just kind of take you right back to that page and right back to where all those search results are. And I did want to point out that as long as a license holder is active in our system, they will show up here. You will not see any license holders that are inactive. So if they are showing up on this page, that means they are ready to go. They're good to go in Sarasota County. You will not get results of license holders that are in an inactive status for whatever reason that may be. Okay. So going back to the home page again, let's scroll down a bit. So let's start with building. Building is a pretty popular one. Obviously, there's three options here. You can create an application, search an application, or schedule. Creating an application, obviously, that's if you want to create a permit application, you would click that link. Scheduling an inspection is only pertaining to if you have a permit already filed and you need to schedule an inspection related to that permit. So for the purposes of, today's meeting, we are just going to be searching applications. So you simply click the link. It's going to take you to this page here. And like I mentioned at the start of this, there's going to be different search types. So you'll have a general search, a search by address, you can search by licensed professional information, and you can search by record information. However, me personally, and what I have found to be the most helpful and useful is a general search. I mean, it's really going to give you the most information. This is best used if you are in need of batch information. So for example, if you are trying to look up commercial permits filed in a specific zip code or permits filed at a specific address, this is where you would try and search for that information. So you can click to all the record types here, and you will be able to see every single type of building permit record that we have, literally. So for example, if I wanted to look up all commercial new construction permits that were filed in the month of July, put that there. Okay, let's just say that, just the month of July, and I click search, then it will show me all of the commercial permits that were filed in Sarasota County for the month of July. And what's really cool about this is that you can download all of these results. It'll download right into an Excel file. You can export it to Excel and manipulate the data and do whatever you need with it. Save it to your computer if you need that information at a later time. If you wanted to search commercial permits in, hold on, let me just put that date again so it doesn't give me only July, in a certain zip code or for a certain address, you can even do that. So let's search that, see, and it'll give me all the permits filed in that zip code, okay? So this is really helpful. Sometimes if, like I said, if you're looking for like a batch sort of information, if you're trying to find permits that were filed for a specific address, this is where you would, building permits, just to clarify, this is where you would find that information. Like I said, you can download those results into an Excel file. Also, when you actually click into the individual record, right, it's going to bring you to this page, okay? And this is going to be kind of like the record detail page. It will show you the record number. It will show you the type of record and the actual status, additional information required. Basically, that means that the applicant has to provide additional information. That can vary depending on the nature of the application. There will also show if there's any conditions on the permit. So if you see that here, that means that there is a condition, and that just basically means that something additional is needed before the permit can be issued. So in this case, you can actually view the condition. And it says an NOC is required for issuance. This document must be uploaded before permit issuance. Obviously, that's not going to be for every single permit. It's just if a condition happens to be put on that specific permit. Let me go back into that record again. Sorry. Okay. So if you scroll further down, you'll see this work location. You will see the licensed professional that is assigned to that permit. You will see the project description, kind of a summary of what the project is. If you see this little more details section here, a lot of the times, I know it sounds silly, but people don't realize that they can click this little arrow here to have additional drop-down menus, and it has additional application information. So just make sure you expand all of the arrows and all of those areas when you're in the page. A lot of the times, like I said, you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that they can do that, and there's just maybe additional information that they're looking for. So here they have the general project information, project type, cost of, the job value, if it's a private provider, type of gas, just some general information here, and then when the application is actually expiring. So that's just how to navigate some of that in the general search. And again, it really varies depending on what you are looking for, but there's several ways that you can search here, and it can be very helpful. And it's also helpful that you can export those results into Excel and save it for, for a later time. I also wanted to kind of go into some other areas here. So if you were to click search by address, this is a very generic, kind of a more limited way to search for applications as opposed to the general search. Again, I would, assuming I have that address, you can just simply put it in there. Search. And it will give me a few different results here. And the reason you'll see that is because sometimes when an applicant actually files an application, they have the ability to kind of put in the address a few different ways. So you may see a few results here. If you click into each individual one, you'll be able to see the permits. But it's all related to this address. Also, if you wanted to search by license information, so this is best used to show kind of a batch of all the license types and the permits that have been filed with that license. So a good example I can show is if you were trying to look for a certified, let's just say solar contractor. Maybe you were trying to do some solar work on your home and you needed to find a contractor. If you were to just kind of navigate to this section, it will show you all these certified solar contractors listed in Sarasota County. If you actually click on the license number and you scroll down, it will show you all the permits that license holder currently has filed. Okay. And same process, you can click in that record number and it will give you all the record details. Again, all that information will be there. Permit number, the status, obviously the licensed professional, and the actual application information, as well as parcel information. Parcel number can be found there too. So we can scroll, just kind of go back there. So this is helpful sometimes if, like I said, if you are looking for a specific type of contractor and maybe you just wanted some information, you didn't really know where to look or how to start. I mean, kind of gives you a whole list of all the certified contractors, in the county. So let's actually go down to the next one, which is search by record information. And again, this is also kind of similar to that address one where it's a very limited type of search. So if you have a record number, and I don't have one offhand, I could find one, but I don't have my Accela open. If you have a record number, you just type it in there, press search, and it will take you directly to that record detailed page that we've gone into a few times now. Again, it'll just take you directly to that permit. Okay. You don't need to type in the record number and then type in the record type. You can just simply type in record number and it'll take you right there. And you also don't need to, my advice is to kind of keep these dates open so you have access to everything. Again, unless you were trying to filter it by a specific date, that's where you would find that. But again, this is very limited to just one record number that you would be looking for. You can also put the project name in there, but it may be a little bit hard to find. There could be misspelling in the application, so that would be a little bit more specific. I mean, you would have to be sure that you have that project name correctly. Excuse me. So that covers building. Again, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that if you are in the building module, you'll only be able to see building records. So commercial records, commercial permits, solar permits, residential permits, sign permits, basically every single record, building record type that's here. That's all you'll be able to see. Okay. So now we can go over to the community development, kind of show you again what's most popular for this module. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just needed some water. Okay, so now we're in community development. Again, these search types are going to be the same throughout. It's just kind of going over again what you want to look for. So typically people that are in this module, this is where you would find business use permits. This is where you would find let's see, zoning verifications, rezone, special exceptions, really specific to community development planning, that type of stuff, or earth moving permits, plats. Obviously, there's a variety of different types of permits in here that you can look for. If you were trying to see, I don't know, maybe you were doing research on all new businesses that have opened up in Sarasota County in July, in the month of July, you can just kind of manipulate the dates here. Oops. Put a 1. And then, oh, sorry. Actually, that's a good example. If the date, something's off, then you'll get a little kind of note there. So yeah, let's say I wanted to look for all new businesses that were opening in the month of July or maybe filed in the month of July. This is where you can find that information. Has that record number, has the record type, the description, the project name, and the status. If it's in plan review, if it's been closed, if it's an inspection phase, if the permit has been issued, you can see all that information at first glance right here in this window. Again, you can, if it's that blue kind of clickable link, you'll be able to go into it and look at all of the record detail information, work location, description, make sure to, drop down that arrow and see the general project information as well. Okay. Then you can just hit the back button again. Something else I wanted to point out, which is actually pretty cool. If you wanted to you can kind of filter these by status as well. It'll kind of put it in like an alphabetical order. Or it'll kind of filter it by the status, or you can even filter it by the record number. So if you were to click on that record number, it'll put it in like some sort of numeric order. So obviously starting from the top down, if you were to click it again, I believe it goes from like the smallest number all the way to the largest. So just something to think about as well. Obviously, you can do that in Excel if you were to decide to transport that data or export that data. But you can do it in the Accela application as well. And let's
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
I
Go
have a
ahead.
question.
Sure.
So if it doesn't have the blue link, is there any specific situation why it's not blue? Is it like because it's private or it has already been done?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. Okay, so for specifics here, if there isn't a blue link, so for example, whenever you see a record that says 24 TMP or anything with a TMP, that basically means that the applicant has not finished actually applying or completing that application, and it's not in our side yet. So you'll be able to see even records that are currently being worked on, but you won't be able to click into it because the applicant is still maybe uploading documents and hasn't actually submitted it to the county yet. So you won't be, we haven't seen it. Maybe they're just waiting. And a lot of times, if it's like a bigger company, maybe they have a few things that are just temporarily sitting out there or in the system that they're not ready to submit yet. So you'll see that come up sometimes, but you won't be able to click into that record. So thank you for that question. Hope that clarifies. Okay, so we're in community development. Okay, so let's go to the licenses. Again, that general search, address, license information, there's going to be two other types here that you can use. You can search by contact, and that essentially just means that if you have a phone number for somebody or an email, that's where you would put that information. It's really no bigger difference. Or just obviously they have the first name and the last name, the name of the business, the address, but this is specifically if you just only have contact information. Let's see. I do want to mention that, so if you see the record types here, there's going to be like change of status, local license, application. These are applications that are submitted to the county by license holders that are for obviously various reasons. If they need to renew their license, if they need to register their license, these are the types of applications that they would file. However, the public does not have access to this, so you will not be able to see these applications. I know that it's there, and you have the general search bar here available, but if I were to click a record type and search, no results are going to come up because that information is not visible to the public. And then we can go over to Public Works. Just want to kind of highlight. So sometimes some modules will take you right to the create an application section. Don't get confused. Obviously, if you're still trying to search an application, just click search application and it will take you right back to that page. Let's just kind of cover some of the record types that you can find in the Public Works module. Right-of-way permits, temporary use permits. That's another popular one. Sometimes if maybe people are interested in the types of events taking place in a certain zip code within a certain area of you can find it through here. We get a lot of calls about temporary use permits, and if there is an event happening and they want to find out if the event did file for a temporary use permit. You can call the county, but you can look up that information yourself if you have, as long as you have like a street name. Obviously, there's a few different ways that you can find it here. And all that information will be here. You'll have the record number, again, record type, the description, what's taken place there, what kind of event, the project name, and the status of the actual application. If you wanted to go into the temporary use permit, you can. Just loading. It'll show you a little bit more details, again, about the record status. So obviously this is currently in plan review, the lyric location, and the application information. So there's a lot of information that they have to put up here, the applicant, when filing for a temporary use permit. So you can find out if there will be any alcoholic beverages, all this information will kind of be labeled here. And also the setup start time and the end time will be found here too. And the date of the events. So people have found that to be pretty helpful. Parcel information is always provided as well. Let's go back. Temporary use permits and right-of-way permits, utility permits, culverts, all that information you will be able to find in Public Works. And again, just to reiterate, search types, this is a general search by address, license information, and record information. It's going to be pretty much the same throughout all of the modules. Okay, so enforcement is also another really popular one that we get. So let's just toggle over there. So if you are trying to look if a code enforcement case has been filed on a specific address and a status, this is where you would find that information. So obviously you go to enforcement. If you have a specific address that you are looking for, you can put the address number and the street name, and you will be able to find out if there is an enforcement code case filed on that location. If you were to just look for, also there's different types of enforcement cases. right? So there's building enforcement, environmental, license, zoning, sign pickup. It will you can search by the enforcement record type. So let's say you wanted to find all building enforcement code cases. And again, let's just do July. And search. It will show you all of the code enforcement cases that have been filed for July. You can actually go into the record again. I'll show you what that looks like. You will see the details here a little bit more. You'll see the building enforcement, pending investigation, the location, the actual address, and then the description. So this is what the complaint is. If you go to that more details, you can see the date the complaint was received, the source of the complaint, and the complaint category, occupancy without CO. And then obviously, like I said, the parcel information is always going to be there. So this has been pretty helpful for folks as well. This is a pretty popular one. So this is how you would find that information. And, I do implore you guys to kind of, if you're not so familiar with the site, it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get into it and kind of play around with it, you really do get the hang of it. And you can search for different various record types through different ways, so depending on the information that you have. And obviously, we're here at the county for any additional assistance that you may need regarding any code enforcement cases. Let's go over to the fire. And just wanted to kind of just go over again the types of records that you'll be able to find in the fire module. So, fire construction permits, sparkler sales, fire amendments, alarm registrations, that sort of thing. If I click fire construction, right, I can search. It'll give me every fire construction permit that has been filed in Sarasota County. I can click into that record again, and it's going to be that same sort of display, right? It'll give me the work location, the contractor that's listed on the job, the application information. If there's an associated building permit number, typically there will be, when the application expires. Two-way enhancement. I am not in the fire department, so I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm sure if you're looking for a fire permit, maybe this information can be helpful for you. And yeah, all that information will be there. So you can go back. And I just want to also mention general information requests. Again, I know sometimes it'll be there, but it does not, this information, you will not be able to search general information requests. And what that means is any requests that were submitted really into 311, that information is invisible to the public. If you did want to, like I said, do a full lien search request, it takes you to this page and you would have to follow the prompts and actually file an application that you would like to do a lien search on a specific property. And that's, I think, pretty much it. I know that this is a lot. Like there's a lot that I covered here. There's several different modules. There's several different permit types. Obviously, not everyone's going to know everything by heart. I don't know everything by heart, and I work here. So I really have just taken my time to kind of really learn the system. If there's something I'm looking for, I can find it a few different ways, export it into Excel, like I demonstrated before. So just, I really, like I said, encourage you all to kind of just play around with it. If there's anything that you can't find, if you're having trouble, you can always reach out to us in the county. And that really concludes my presentation.